Hello there boys and girls, I played SpiritVale Early Access and I leveled up Necromancer to level 88 and I tried out the Rogue. Some of my impressions from the demo have actually remained and some of them have changed. It seems like actually the extra game time did allow me to get a better understanding of the game, and I definitely think you should get a better understanding of the game too. So first thing first, content or mechanic wise, the game is simply identical to the demo, so don't expect any huge changes. In fact, currently the devs are actually focusing on remaking and overhauling key parts of the backend systems for the game due to some massive problems that came from launch. In my demo impressions video, I talked about how I see this game being a spiritual successor to MapleStory. In a way, I still kind of do, but we'll get to it in a bit. What is SpiritVale? Well, SpiritVale is an MMORPG started by a single guy named Phil, who developed into a bigger project with a decent amount of devs and support from the community, who is enjoyed by roughly 15,000 players according to Steam, and I think a peak of 20,000 players. Just like any other MMORPG, you choose a class and off to leveling you go. This game has absolutely no story, just make your character and go play, which is pretty nice. Open up the map by pressing M, check out what maps actually fit your current level, just go there by like roughly heading to the same direction it looks like from your location on the map. Every XP that you're gonna gain by killing mobs will actually be split into two things. Number one, general levels, and then number two, job levels, with actually job leveling slower. Every time general is leveled, you gain 3 attribute points, and every time job is leveled, you actually gain 1 skill point. And at job level 50, you can advance into another job by talking to people and unlocking even more skill, which is pretty nice. To complement your skills, equipment is dropped by mobs as well as craftable in those same maps. So a chest piece that is gonna be dropped from a goblin in the goblin village will also be craftable in the same map using some materials that you can collect by killing mobs in the same map. It's actually pretty nice because even if you can't target farm a single item or a single mob that you want to kill, you can actually just kill whatever is on the map and then take those items and then go craft that specific item you're looking for. Saves you a lot of time. It's very nice. I like it. Now later on, when the trading is available in the game, because we're going to talk about it later, don't worry, you will be able to purchase those crafting materials from other people or the item itself. Like I said, just go craft the items in the same map with the items that you bought. So you can save even more time later on. This kind of allows this whole like player-driven community stuff that they are talking about. When you have the equipment that you want, you will need, like all other games, to optimize it for your own build. And now comes the essences, which are pretty much just cubes from MapleStory. They allow you to play around with the item stat lines in multiple ways. To gain those essences, currently you can just farm them from mobs because they drop from every mob. The higher the mob, the higher the drop rate. And later on, like I said, when it's available, you'll also be able to buy them from other people because they are tradable. Okay, now that we explained what SpiritVale is, it's actually time to talk about how it actually feels to play SpiritVale. As I only played Necromancer level 88 and a Rogue level 31, naturally all of my opinions will actually come from that experience, so don't expect anything else. First of all, the Necromancer, the class I would actually play in real life if I could. Relying on your minions doesn't feel great, it actually feels pretty terrible. Your core idea about a Necromancer would be summons, right? Summons are pretty basic. Aside from the healing angel, they really allow no combos or interesting builds. They follow you like some mindless zombies, pun intended, and attack with no thought. The even worse part is that the way to make them stronger is actually to wear clothes with stats that they benefit from. So if you want a big muscly dude as your tank, you will actually have to wear vitality and strength clothes. This means you're going to lose out on potential damage from your int stat. Unfortunately, even when you play just a pure int necromancer, you will deal great damage. Sure, you can delete everything that's even like 20 levels above you, but everything else is also going to delete you. So it's kind of a trade. The way I would have done this is actually to make the summons use a percentage of your max MP and not kind of let them die. Then give a small skill path in your Necromancer skill tree for every summon that actually strengthen that specific summon. This way, future skill trees and expansions can just be new creatures and new combos that you can achieve. Because summons currently in the game are just normal mobs you can find all around the game and around the map, so future summons can just be future mobs that you're going to introduce to the game anyway. This way it's actually pretty simple and actually solve a lot of time for the devs. Reviving a boss as your champion, that's a skill that I really liked during the demo, but turns out it's not really that useful. Well, why? Because you need the sustain from the angel summon not to die. But both of them are actually exclusive summons, so this means you're stuck on using one of them, either the angel or the boss. Now, funny enough, if you go and you try to capture the angel as the boss skill, it will actually be worse than just using your normal skill. I don't know why it is, but that's the way it works. He has less HP and he dies faster. In the end, I'm quite disappointed with the power fantasy of the Necromancer, and I actually wished for a more straightforward build-based path, but it turns to be more of a death mage with a bunch of meat shields. Like I mentioned, I also tried out the rogue, but it felt even worse this time as you absolutely have no healing in your kit. The solution I found was actually to get some leech artifact, and it definitely helps, but it's not gonna solve the problem. The skill and the potential for the character actually seem pretty cool, but the core problems just prevented me from like giving it all I have and actually grinding down the character and playing it long term. I just couldn't do it. Regarding leveling progression, the game feels quite great when you start up, especially if you find like a nice group to party with when you start. Up to maybe level 70-ish, where it becomes a little bit more of a slog and you need to start paying heavy attention to what you're doing, the way you're farming, or you're gonna risk instant death at any point. This is the part where I think it's gonna be a little bit more personal to me. I don't think it's gonna touch as many people, so, you know, prepare yourself. The reason why I like grindy games like MapleStory so much is because I can turn off my brain for a few hours and watch something and grind experience and loot at the same time. And once I realized that I just can't do this in this game, I just kind of was turned off to the game. I didn't want to do this anymore. And I noticed like a bunch of other things like party play, which is hardly encouraged. Like I said, you get more experience by playing up with a party, up to 300% if I'm not wrong, with a maxed out party, which is freaking insane. And the game does seem balanced around the fact that you're going to be playing in parties. This is how you're going to gain experience. You're going to level up fast. That's pretty nice. The problem is that some maps are going to be forgotten maps. Now, what the fuck do I mean by forgotten maps? Even if some map is going to actually yield better experience per hour for you, you will actually get better results going to a less efficient map that is under your level just to go play with other people. This makes some of the maps that came from launch that people started playing in the only maps, because it's kind of a loop. You don't go to a map that has nobody in, you stay in the maps that everybody plays in because you want to get the higher experience. So you won't go to the map that's better for you. And this way you just kind of keep the same maps alive all over again and again. And some maps are just going to be dead zones. Nobody's ever going to go there because they have no reason. There's nobody there. Let's talk about equipment. Because items are randomly spread around the map, you will often find a level 100 player farming in a level 60 zone. And because every item has a limited amount of rerolls, getting a very good base item matters a lot. Here's a good example as to why. For my Necromancer, I actually sat down and did some math on the level 100 best in slot set from what it seems like to me, and my current gear, which is level 30 mind you, gives me 614 magic attack. The upgrade set, once you account for the weaker bonuses that it has and the fact that it needs a 4th item slot instead of the 3 which I'm currently using, it's gonna cost me an additional accessory slot, which is giving me 5% magical damage. Everything comes out to roughly 589 magic attack plus that 5% that I'll be losing. So a level 100 best in slot set, losing to my level 30 gear. That's a downgrade. 70 levels apart, it's a downgrade. I don't know what's behind this balancing decision. My guess is the intention was actually that low-level players are gonna sell items in the auction house, and then high-level players would actually buy them, so not everyone is gonna be fighting over the same low-level hunting grounds. But the game is broken in multiple ways right now, and the auction house is one of them. We just can't trade in any way currently. I have my suspicions as to, even after this whole thing with the trading is going to be enabled, why there would be problems and this wouldn't work. But I think that's too much philosophy for this video, so I'm just gonna kind of, maybe we'll talk about it later on if it's relevant. Okay, it's time. What are the huge problems that I keep talking about? Well, number one is the lag. Every maybe 15 seconds the game is gonna kind of like freeze. Nothing is gonna happen and it's gonna unfreeze in like 1 or 2 seconds. I don't know, the game is saving or it's doing something. The dev said something about the warehouse. I don't know what the problem is, but they're saying it's gonna be fixed this week, probably. That's what they're saying. Number two, bots and hackers, which I gotta say, good job to devs. They are taking care of the problems, because in the last few days, like yesterday and today, I have not seen like a lot of bots and hackers in the game. I've seen like maybe one. So I gotta say, hey, they are doing a good job. They are doing something. So it's nice. It was a crazy problem when we just started. And then number three is just a variety of bugs. Like you can't leave your party, some skills are just not working sometimes, some buffs reset when you change your maps, you suddenly can't teleport. There's a bunch of bugs like that that get fixed eventually once you like leave the game and come back, but bugs nonetheless. SpiritVale has a new problem every day. Now, I get that this is a single dev game, kind of, but I want to play the game. Like, it's still frustrating that every day the servers have some kind of problems. They're either offline or they have a problem that now you can't do a certain something. It's just really frustrating to play like that. All of these problems just kind of compound on the cons that I talked about up to this point, and they really make me not want to play the game. My hopes are actually that the game will get major technical problems fixed, and then maybe with some overhauls to some of the gameplay systems. Currently, I don't see myself grinding this game every day after work, and I'm sad about this because I keep comparing this game to MapleStory, and there's a reason. I played that game for thousands of hours, just grinding and grinding every day. It was some of the best time in my life, and so I hoped that this game would be something similar. I'm still gonna hold on hope, and I'm still gonna wait to see what the future holds. I just can't really recommend playing this game right now, because even if you don't mind all the problems I mentioned, the scope of the game is quite short. If I played a few more hours in the game, I would have maxed out my character, not with not the highest level, but the best gear. So there's not a lot of playtime to be had right now. With that being said, if you liked what you heard about the game, be my guest, try the game out. Who am I to tell you no? I would love to hear what you have to say about your experience with the game, and actually it made me kind of want to do like how I would fix or what would I change in SpiritVale kind of video. So yeah, maybe look out for that. So with that being said, hope you enjoyed so free. Thank you. If you didn't, let me know so I can improve. So keep safe and I'll see you next one. Bye bye.